I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and here today with me is Andrew O'Donnell, founder and managing director of Supercharged Stocks. Thanks so much for being here today.
Great to see you, Charlotte. I always love chatting with you, and what a day we're having.
Yes, we have a very specific topic in mind today. You used to talk to us quite frequently about vanadium. Maybe a year or two back, there was lots going on with that. It's fallen under the radar, but now you're here to tell us why we should still be interested in vanadium. So maybe you could start there.
Yeah, so it's a weird synchronicity of events, but I've always been a fan. I've always considered vanadium kind of my Star Trek metal because it's pushing us forward in this green, clean world. And it's been taking a bit of a backseat for a while because it's a difficult topic. It's got a mixture of mining and chemistry. It's not an easy thing for people to get their heads wrapped around. But at the core of it, what we're talking about is battery storage and battery power and this whole electrification of the future. It is a major component that a lot of people have kind of shied away from because it's a technology play along with mining. But today there's been a dramatic shift, especially in regards to Canada, because today, just 4 hours ago, Vanadium Corp, which was a company I was speaking to you about a couple of years ago too, they came out with a resource, measured and indicated mineral resources of 214.93 million tons. And I won't get into the technical aspects of it because it won't necessarily mean a lot to anyone. But for those that do follow this market, it's comparable to the size and grade of a bushveld in South Africa. So this is enormous. And it couldn't come at a better time because literally this morning, the government of Quebec had done their big announcement of work with strategic and critical metals, of course, rare earth and vanadium, both which are outstanding resources in Quebec, where their initiative to drive us forward towards this electrification of the future. So it's an absolutely shocking result or resource, but it's outstanding news for Quebec and Canada and the whole kind of scene.
Great. So maybe put that into context for us a little bit. How is the market reacting? Are people noticing this, or is it really still people are not understanding what all of this means?
Yes, the shares today, I mean, especially with Vanadium Corp, they literally put every dollar, every penny into the ground. And there were issues 2 years ago where even I thought this is a bit early. It's also a bit of a complicated story, but it is getting a lot of attention today. So it is trading. And of course, you have to clean out the old people that just want out of the story and just go, hey, and it is up. But I think at the last time I checked, it was just over 2 million shares traded just out of the blue. And this isn't like someone finds gold and the stock just jumps right up. There's a lot of education that kind of has to happen, but this is the type of announcement that it turns heads. Anybody that's in this market will look and go, oh my goodness, I need to look at this data. I need to comb through it, make sure everything's accurate. And of course they will. And I tell people, and I direct them to Adrian Bacher over at Vanadium Corp. They've spent a lot of time on this resource. It's right beside BlackRock, which is, I think the Quebec government has put about $1 billion into. They want this to happen. So I can imagine when they see this, there's going to be a lot of attention because it really hones in on that whole ESG thing that we're hearing about when we hear about the Great Reset and we hear about we need new energy. I mean, this fits in perfect, and it couldn't be a better situation for Canada because Quebec is so mining friendly, and Vanadium Corp is not only that has this resource, it also has a solution in regards to the Redux battery and as well as towards to processing. So there's so much more to come out of here. And that's what makes this so exciting, is that it really starts driving home that there is a future that we can have an active part in and not have to worry about any price manipulation or anything. This changes things dramatically very quickly.
Well, and maybe you could put that into context as well for those who may not understand the supply situation with regards to vanadium. We know it's a critical metal. Where is most of it coming from? What does this mean for Canada?
Yeah, so, I'm fortunate to have spoken in New York about this. I basket in with rare earth, although it's not the same, is that there are decent deposits around. This deposit is something special. Largo is probably you're one of your key players that people see out of Toronto that's done exceptionally well with their resource and mining right now. But at the end of the day, 90% of vanadium is used in steel. So for any of your infrastructure, which I think anyone would know, there's going to be a lot of infrastructure, whether it be with China with their One Belt, One Road, or just the upkeep to try to get us moving forward. I think like something like 70% of US bridges need to have some upkeep. And vanadium, it's kind of like that magic fairy dust. If you sprinkle in a little bit, it makes it lighter and stronger. So that's the main market, is this not as exciting ferrovanadium for metals. Where it's really the game changer is the pentoxide. So with that is you have to process it, and what really matters then is the metallurgy and the processing of it. 90% of that is controlled. The vanadium and rare earth market is controlled by China. So it gets a lot of, I'll have to be careful my wording. The price fluctuation can be enormous and can be a deterrent. So this is a situation though, where this could change things very rapidly, especially since they have the solution for the processing as well, because one of the key drawbacks towards vanadium is that the processing, it's very onerous if you do it environmentally friendly and within guidelines. If you don't have to do it, you could build a smelter for $50, $100 million and start pumping it out. Of course, the environmental concerns would be huge. But this process that they're working on too, which is step 2, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself, is an environmental chemical process that they have, and it can work to scale, that this could totally shift that market, that we don't have to rely on China at all. And we can develop these batteries, which are going to be absolute changers. They can store up to 20 years of energy. And that solves a lot of the problems we have with solar power, with hydropower, with peak energy storage and trying to capture energy. So there's a ton to the story, but what's so exciting is that anybody who's kind of a green environmentalist who's looking to say, we need to get off this and get onto this, this is a fantastic story just to get excited about, to be interested in, even for young people to go, like, how can we solve some of these problems? This is something you'll be fascinated by. And we're so blessed that it's here in our backyard. It's here in Canada. We can invest in this and put our money towards these solutions, not just kind of go out and protest and fight and be upset, is that we can literally spend our time and money now and point it towards companies like Vanadium Corp that are going to actually provide solutions for the future.
All right. Yeah, you're definitely very excited. It's great to see.
It's huge.
Are there any other companies, I have to ask, that you're watching in the vanadium space that investors should have an eye on?
Absolutely. There's 2 things. So one is that just in the summer, Schmid out of Germany, they signed a deal with a chemical arm of Saudi Aramco, where they're building vanadium redox batteries. So that gives you a hint that a major energy player in the oil and gas market is also now looking at energy in a different way. And that, although it was news to some extent, it wasn't getting the big highlight that I think we're going to start getting here in Canada now that we're in this now, we're playing in this now. Whereas we now see a company like Invinity out of UK, they've signed a deal in California for battery storage as well. So it isn't just, a high tech, is this going to happen? Is it not going to happen? It's happening now. And these are the types of stories that if people hear about, and I start roaring and chanting about, and you have in as well, getting these stories out, is that people see, yes, there are companies and capital markets that are driving solutions that everyone wants to see. I mean, it shows that mining companies can work with technology and solve some of these problems that we're facing for the future.
Okay, I know you're super busy today. I have a couple more questions and then we can let you go. Next one is, for investors who are looking at these companies, what is your best advice? We've talked a lot about how this is complicated. So how can people start to dig in and understand what these companies are doing? Especially as you mentioned, there's the mining side, there's also the tech side of these things.
Well, I mean, one of the key things is, and I know your own company, Investor News Network, has like a generalist report that one can read that will walk you through step by step. Why should I care about this? Why does this matter? And these are great places to start to get your kind of brain thinking, okay, this is how it works generally. You don't need to spend too much time in the weeds on the details. You can look at a lot of the reports that come out, and the analysts will comment and say, yes, this is real, this is not. If it is, and it's being confirmed as in this new release, it's exciting and people can translate that. Now, there's not a lot of people, like said, that do talk about vanadium But you guys do have a lot of resources. I have resources myself that help to educate people, and that's the biggest factor, is just getting the word out and letting people know how exciting it is. I mean, people forget that the first quantum computer was built here in Burnaby. That's amazing. I mean, we have like such amount of talent in technology that we don't hear enough in the news. So, you know, if we can get people of all ages excited that, listen, there are solutions, then I think you're going to find that it doesn't become as scary. And then even the chemistry and all that, I mean, people will ask, they'll ask people, well, is this real? Is it true? And just that engagement gets people excited. Like, listen, there is a solution. I don't have to feel like there's all negative news all the time. That no, we're heading towards something, and that can give a bright light to the whole energy market and energy storage for the country. That's the size of thing we're talking about. It isn't just a small news story. This is quite big.
Just from a more macro perspective, as we're moving through the coronavirus and everything to do with that, we're starting to hear about a possible green recovery. What do you make of that idea? Is that something that you see in the future?
Absolutely. And I mean, that's one of the key things that I like is this whole, I call it kind of transitioning with the Great Reset. And I remember whenever I started posting things from the World Economic Forum and the UN, where they labeled it the Great Reset, people kept on telling me, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. I was like, no, it's not my idea. They're talking about it. This is this Great Reset that's coming. And it's being matched by, you know, BlackRock Capital, who's got, you know, $8 trillion. I think they have 1.8 trillion in active ESG funds. And this is tying in exactly with this whole message from Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the UN, is that environmental sustainable governance is key moving forward. And they want to see this happen. It doesn't mean that there's not other types of energy. It just means there's going to be such a focus on bringing this new energy through a very difficult time and transitioning to it. So I see this as being it's almost a synergy. That we've got a real problem with the climate and with pollution and with environmental degradation. And now we have a strong chance to have a positive impact. And for me, I look at that, and I don't love everything about ESG. There's lots of things tied into it that are negative. But if you're looking just at some of the environmental applications, it's absolutely vital. It's critical. And it means to anyone who knows, the green, clean energy storage plan, it's all mining. So we're looking at there being a major shift in mining. It's just started. And I can't be more excited, since we've been hearing from so many people for the last years and years in the mining sector that the solutions that we need come from the ground. And if we can do it responsibly and we can do it with good guidance, it's going to benefit everyone.
Okay, well, that sounds like a good place to leave it today. Thank you so much for speaking to me and sharing the excitement today about vanadium.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. Yeah, it's a very exciting day.
Okay, and once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with the Investing News Network, and this is Andrew O'Donnell with Supercharged Stocks.